Welcome to alkaline hydroxide 784. Today we interrupt the usual program to bring you 16 steps to a relationship as seen by a stupid single strategist with a script. Right, as you can see, I seem to love alliteration more than actual people. Now, I'm not even good at literature, so I don't know why. And well, I was originally gonna write sadistic, but I looked up the meaning of sadistic and well, that definitely doesn't describe me. As much as I like criticizing myself, I want to be factual about it. Okay, so yeah, at least for this topic, stupid makes more sense because I'm a noob. But hey, that's why I want to entertain you all with these 16 steps. Yes, I'm still going for that smooth alliteration to get a relationship, from my point of view at least. But before I move on, I'll just say that I have no experience in this kind of stuff, so take whatever I say with a huge heap of salt. Okay. So step one, before you start, I guess you have to analyze what you want, like figure out all of your prejudices. Well, I know this sounds, not very nice, but let's face it, all of us have prejudices and biases. I've read many stories of people having a pretty terrible relationship because their partner wasn't exactly what they wanted. So to have the best bet and also to narrow down your choices, first figure out what you're exactly biased towards. What I mean is, like, first of all, what gender, then what features, like physical features, what personality, what characteristics. And it could be stuff that you would otherwise see as not socially nice, but honestly, people will have their own biases, their own stubborn, like they only want this particular feature or this particular characteristic or aspect or any word that you want to use for this, but yeah. And you have to really get that clear, be clear with what exactly you're looking for before you move on. But let's just not be too specific, like don't be like, oh, I need this person who can do this very specific thing. No, please. That may not end well. That's a little bit too specific. So the second step would be to look for potential sources of your, partner, I guess. So yeah, now you need to look where someone who suits your criteria, or at least most of it, because you gotta be flexible. As much as you need to be very clear of what you want, some flexibility is required. So you need to figure out where someone like that can be found. Could be real life sources like friend groups, your community, your CCA, or your class, anywhere, any kind of group. Or it could be something more online, like dating apps. I don't know how they work, so don't ask me. And maybe social media. I don't know. Could be anywhere. Okay, so step 3 would be to look through each of these sources. That step seems pretty simple. So just, if it's like a real life source, you just, talk to them, I guess. If it's online, you can just stalk them online. Isn't that what people do? I think not truly stalk them, but just find out more information about them in a way. And then from your first impressions, figure out who you want to talk to. So yeah, this is kind of like, if I would analogize this with an experiment, this would be like if you get a certain idea, like you start with an idea and you need more information. So step 4 would be to get to know them better. Yeah, so if your first impressions may be one thing, but you need to get slightly better first impressions. So you should probably get to know more about their hobbies, their background, or whatever stuff that you need to know as in the terms of a basic sense. And for that, you would need to actually talk to the person, like converse with whoever you want to, talk to and date, I guess. And from this, session, you're getting some quantitative information to get to know what you're working with better. So like in an experiment, you're just getting some some data, maybe like your literature review, you read up and see all this data from previous things. I don't know. Yeah. So step 5 would be to narrow down this list to like 3 or 4 people who you're more vibing with, at least according to your instincts. So from the preliminary information, you would have gotten that instinct, okay, these people, I want to narrow it down to this particular bunch of people. And yeah, even science says that sometimes you should trust your gut instinct, so might as well. And then step 6 is to go deeper. I mean, in terms of information, yeah, like get deeper, more legit information. So there's one list of questions that has been somewhat linked with helping people fall in love, and there is a link which you can click. And the idea behind this is to ask each other very deep questions, which will also give you more qualitative information, because earlier we got quantitative, now we get qualitative information. Yeah, so I am still going in the experiment analogy, unfortunately for you. Oh no. Yeah, so in an experiment, this would be like after you read the data, you go and search for very specific things that have dealt with that data, like something that will help you get an hypothesis. So from this, you'll get an hypothesis, as in one person to choose. And from the 3 or 4 people, you would have chosen one person to date. And then that will be step 7. So you choose that one person and date them for some small time, I guess. Maybe like 1 or 2 dates, I guess. And this is to fact check your decision that you made in step 6. So it's kind of like running a preliminary experiment to test your hypothesis, and you're doing some primary data collection at this point, like first-hand data. And from step 8, you had to evaluate it and see if you made a good choice. So evaluate your date. So it's like kind of analyzing your results in a way. Yeah, so you analyze what happened, see whether it seems to be a good choice, if you can move on, continue with it, or if you really don't like it. So step 9 is if you want to continue, then you go for a longer time. If not, you have to cycle back to some other step in the beginning and go with the next option. But let's just say go with the part of going for a longer time. So this, in an experiment sense, this would be like doing experiments in extreme cases, because even in scientific experiments, if you may be getting good results in a normal control group scenario, or like a very neutral state, like temperature, maybe like room temperature, but then you haven't figured out what will happen if you do it at like 100 degrees Celsius or something. So likewise, you had to see what happens in the extreme case scenarios, either they be good or really bad. And I guess in terms of a relationship, that would be something like arguments or something. I don't know. See if you can survive an argument in a sense, or if you can actually do stuff that's really happy as well. Because sometimes some people can do happy stuff together. So I don't know how that works. And if that works, the next step is to ask the very important people, your parents. So in the past, like historically, people always went arranged way, arranged marriage instead of love. So I guess maybe it's a good idea to actually get their opinion, because your parents are older than you and have more years of experience. So if you were to analogize this to an experiment, it would be kind of like getting other people to evaluate your experiment, to like look at your results and fact check it, or do like the editing bit of your experiment. And then step 11 would then be to discuss the important stuff, like basically practical things. That's what I mean by important stuff. So if your experiment is mostly a success, then you really test it out in the real real world scenario, because even in a scientific experiment, most of the times, even if you go to extreme case scenarios, you wouldn't be doing it in the real world scenario. You'll be doing it in a lab. So likewise for this, it will be mostly in the fantasy phase, even if you go through the extreme stuff. But now you really need to go face reality and look at the practical things like money, home, I don't know, stuff. And I don't know what people care about. I'm not adult enough for this. Okay, I guess that's the true adult part of it. The rest of it is more, can be like not so adult, but yeah. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, so step 12 is, of course, marry, I guess. Nothing to say about that. Step 13 is live together. Yeah, this coincidentally aligns with the number 13. Great. So you continue to put that like, you know, it's like a continued experiment, like you put it into actual practice. And step 14, whenever problems arise, fix them or reevaluate your relationship. So basically this is, if you were to analogize with the experiment, it would be like troubleshooting it or reevaluating certain aspects of your experiment, or even the entire experiment if it really is failing big time. And then step 15 would be to become a relationship expert and help others. I don't know whether this is a legit thing, whether this is even possible. But yeah, you know, it's kind of like how people share their knowledge from science as well to other people. And step 16 would be to live happily ever after. Okay, I guess you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. Okay, just kidding. That the happily ever after never truly happens, unfortunately. You know why? Because in like 50 years, the global warming will be so bad that there probably won't be a happily ever after. Oh well. I hope you enjoyed that terrible. I'm not sure even if it was even entertaining to begin with, but I actually had to write a script for this, because if I were to do this without a script, I would be creating so many pauses in between that this would be like 10 times longer than it actually is right now. So be happy that this video is not that long. Yeah, I'm sorry that this doesn't seem to be what you would usually expect, but I just wanted to do this for fun. So the next episode in Adulting series would be actually something a little bit more serious, because everyone has experience in this kind of relationship, which is friendship or family relationship. So yeah, I'm not sure when that's gonna come out, because I'm not sure if I want to do the history series yet. Okay, anyways, that's not important. If you found this video fun, or maybe even useful, I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure if it's actually useful, but if you found it interesting, then you can press the like button and subscribe. And with that, I would like to say thank you and bye.